Let me start with something uncomfortable. Most people who want passive income don't actually want passive income. What they really want is passive rescue. They want money to show up like a superhero and save them from a job they secretly hate, a routine that drains them, or a future that feels like it's shrinking. If that hit a little too close to home, good. Because this video is about to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest lies in modern self-help. The lie that passive income is easy. The lie that passive income is quick. The lie that passive income is safe. And today, guided by the explosive ideas in the Millionaire Fastlane, we're going to explore why passive income is not about luck, or shortcuts, or magic internet tricks. It's about something much bigger. Building a life where money works for you, instead of you working for money. And the truth is, almost nobody is willing to pay the price. But if you are, everything changes. So let's begin with a question you may have never asked yourself. Are you on the wrong road? Because MJ DeMarco says most people are. He believes that people fall into one of three financial lanes, and whichever lane you're in predicts your destination, long before you ever get there. So take a breath, clear your head, and be brutally honest with yourself. Which lane are you living in right now? The sidewalk. This is the lane of live for today. It sounds fun, until it isn't. People in the sidewalk mindset spend more than they earn, make emotional money decisions, and never build anything that lasts. It doesn't matter whether they earn $20,000 a year or $2 million a year. If they spend it all, they are financially poor. And eventually the sidewalk ends in the same place every time: stress, dependency, and regret. A sidewalk life feels good in the moment, but the moment doesn't last. The slow lane. Now this one might surprise you, because the slow lane is where most responsible people live. People with jobs, degrees, retirement plans, mortgages, and overflowing calendars. If you grew up hearing messages like, work hard, save consistently, invest smartly, be patient, then you were trained for the slow lane. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. Except for one thing: time. The slow lane trades decades for dollars. You earn money, you save money, you wait. You sacrifice your youth hoping your future self will enjoy the payoff. But what if you don't make it to that future? Or what if, by the time you arrive, the fire in your eyes is gone? That's the quiet nightmare nobody talks about. The fast lane. This is the lane people dream about, but almost nobody drives in. Why? Because the fast lane demands a total mindset rewrite. It says, stop trading time for money. Stop hoping for returns you can't control. Stop letting the world dictate your speed. The fast lane is about building systems, businesses, platforms, assets that earn money while you sleep. And this is where the truth about passive income hits hard. You cannot manifest your way into this lane. You cannot affirm yourself into this lane. You have to build your way into it. And most people give up the moment they realize that passive income begins with active effort. Massive effort. But here's where it gets real. The slow lane isn't just slow, it's risky. Because in the slow lane, everything is outside your control. The market controls your retirement. The boss controls your salary. The economy controls your stability. Time controls your limitations. Passive income, real passive income, only exists when you build something you control. And that brings us to the myth that ruins lives, that wealth is about luck. It isn't. DeMarco says wealth is math, and the formula is shockingly simple. Fast lane wealth equals net profit plus asset value. That means you make money. Then the thing you built becomes worth even more money. Think about it. If you build an online store, or a podcast, or an app, or a course, or a software tool, or a global brand, you don't just earn profit, you build equity. And equity is the lever that changes everything. You're not getting rich from the work you do, you're getting rich from the thing you built. And that is the secret nobody admits. Passive income comes after active sacrifice, after late nights, after failed attempts, after fear, after discipline, after obsession. So the real question isn't, how do I make passive income? The real question is, What am I willing to build that will make passive income possible? Because once you build it, once the system exists, money begins to move differently in your life. Okay, we just uncovered the 3 lanes of wealth. Now let's zoom deeper into the fast lane, because this is where the truth gets uncomfortable, inspiring, and brutally necessary. DeMarco says most people want fast lane results, while living a slow lane lifestyle, using sidewalk habits. That simply doesn't work, because passive income isn't freedom at the finish line, it's responsibility at the starting line. And the starting point is this: passive income isn't passive in the beginning. It takes sweat. It takes failure. It takes years of doing unglamorous things when no one is clapping for you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you win. The lie the internet sells you. Scroll through social media and what do you see? Screenshots of income statements, drop-shipping gurus, crypto prophets, affiliate millionaires. But nobody shows the truth behind those results. Nobody shares the months they made $0. Nobody shares the rejected designs, failed ads, bad code, broken websites, and sleepless nights. Nobody shares the self-doubt, the quiet fear, or the panic attacks. Nobody shows the process, because the process isn't sexy. But passive income is born in the process, not the final result. Just like DeMarco says, wealth isn't an event, it's a process. The first major shift, from consumer to creator. Most people spend their whole lives consuming. They consume entertainment, they consume products, they consume services, they consume other people's ideas, and every time they consume, someone else gets paid. Fastlaners flip that equation. They become the creators. They build the products others consume. They write the books. They design the software. They launch the courses. They offer the services. Instead of watching content, they produce it. Instead of buying apps, they develop them. Instead of complaining about problems, they solve them. This is the nature of wealth. Consumers fund the dreams of creators. Which side are you on? But wait, here's where it gets real. Even creators fail if they're missing one thing: demand. The world doesn't care how talented you are. It doesn't care how excited you feel. It doesn't care how passionate you might be. The world pays for value, not passion. And value exists only where there is need. DeMarco calls this the most important principle in the fast lane. Solve a problem. Not a hypothetical problem. Not a problem only you care about. A real problem. A painful problem. A daily problem. A universal problem. The bigger the problem, the bigger the value, the bigger the income. So instead of asking, what do I love? Ask, what do people need? Because money follows need. Think about it. Uber solved transportation chaos. Airbnb solved overpriced hotels. YouTube solved access to knowledge. Amazon solved time and convenience. These companies didn't chase money. They chased solutions. And because of that, money chased them. That's how passive income is born, when what you build becomes more valuable to the world than the time it took to create it. The fast lane formula, simplified. DeMarco gives us a roadmap that is shockingly simple. 1. Create something people want. 2. Deliver it at scale. 3. Make sure it grows without your constant effort. That's it. That's the backbone of passive income. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody admits. Most people never get past step 1. Not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack patience. They want results today. They want money today. They want success today. But building a fast lane system takes time, and that time is the price of freedom. The emotional punchline. You are not stuck because passive income is impossible. You are stuck because passive income requires you to evolve. It requires you to think differently, act differently, and persist differently. It requires you to abandon old beliefs, like the belief that saving for retirement is safety, or that a job is security, or that time is money. Time is not money. Time is life. Money is merely a tool to protect it. So let me ask you something. If time is life, why would you spend 40 years trading it away, hoping to enjoy whatever remains at the end? Why not spend the next few years building something that gives you decades back? Because that is the real meaning of passive income. Not money without work, but life without chains. And in a moment, we're going to dive into the 5 pillars of Fastlane success, a framework that separates real passive income from fake passive fantasies. This is the part nobody tells you. But before we go there, take one quiet breath. Think about your future and ask yourself, are you willing to build the thing that will set you free? All right. Now we enter the heart of the fast lane, the sense framework, the 5 rules that separate real passive income from fantasy. These aren't theories. These aren't motivational quotes. These are filters. If your business idea fails even one of these, it probably won't make you wealthy. If it passes all 5, you're sitting on a gold mine. Let's break them down. 1. Control. Own the machine. Here's the ugly truth. If you don't control your income system, you don't have passive income. You have a leash around your neck. Think about it. If your entire business depends on Amazon listings, or TikTok views, or YouTube ads, or a boss deciding your hourly wage, then you are not in control. Someone else is. And if they pull the plug, your money disappears. Overnight. Fastlaners know this. It's why they build systems they own, email lists, websites, brands, products, customer bases. They don't gamble their future on algorithms. So the first question to ask is, can someone else shut down what I'm building? If the answer is yes, you're not building wealth. You're renting it. 2. Entry. If it's easy, it won't pay. People love easy, but easy doesn't pay. If anyone can do it, everyone will do it. And if everyone does it, there's no money in it. Think about blogging. 99% fail, not because blogging is bad, but because the entry barrier is 0. Same with dropshipping. Same with affiliate links. Same with simple copy-paste side hustles. High competition, low profit, slow growth. Fastlaners run toward complexity, because complexity keeps the crowd out. If it's hard to learn, hard to build, and hard to copy, it's probably valuable. And valuable things pay. So the question becomes, am I choosing easy or choosing wealth? 3. Need. People must want it. This is the most important pillar. DeMarco says it clearly. Money is a byproduct of value. You do not attract money by chasing money. You attract money by solving a problem. People buy solutions. They do not buy passion. No one cares what you love. They care what hurts. They care what's broken. They care what wastes their time. So if you want passive income that pays, stop asking, what business should I start? Start asking, what problem can I solve? The bigger the pain, the bigger the paycheck. 4. Time. Freedom requires separation. Here comes another truth most people hate. If you are required to be physically present, you do not have a fast lane business. You have a job with fancy branding. If your business stops when you stop working, you cannot scale. You cannot multiply hours. You cannot multiply life. Fastlaners build assets that run without constant input. Software, content libraries, teams, systems, automation, subscriptions, products. Time must detach from income, because passive income isn't no work, it's work that keeps paying. 5. Scale. Impact millions or charge thousands. Here is the final pillar, and the most misunderstood one. A business must be able to grow bigger than your neighborhood, your schedule, your physical presence, or your personal energy. Local coffee shops, low scale. Mobile apps, global scale. Handmade crafts, low scale. Digital courses, infinite scale. One-on-one tutoring, low scale. Platforms like Duolingo, massive scale. When you combine scale and need, passive income becomes inevitable. It becomes mathematical. Solve a problem, for enough people, with a system that runs without you, and wealth becomes automatic. The harsh reality. Most people never build this, not because they can't, but because it requires sacrifice. Sacrifice of comfort, sacrifice of time, sacrifice of ego. And here's the twist. Most people are more in love with the fantasy of passive income than the work required to earn it. They want the lifestyle. They don't want the process. And the process is everything. You must study, fail, iterate, sell, struggle, learn, fall, adapt, repeat. Not for weeks, not for months, for years. And then, suddenly, it looks like you got rich overnight. The emotional turning point. If you're listening right now thinking, this sounds like too much work, good, because that's the test. Everyone dreams of passive income. Very few survive the reality of building it. Only the ones who do are rewarded with freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of choice, freedom of energy, freedom of lifestyle. So let me leave you with this question. If passive income requires 3 years of sacrifice, but gives you 30 years of freedom, is that a trade worth making? You already know the answer. And in the next section, we're going to shatter the romantic fantasy around business ideas and talk about the single biggest factor that separates winners from quitters. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's something deeper, something harder, something most people will never develop. Let's talk about the biggest myth in the entire passive income world. The idea that success comes from having one perfect idea. Most people think there's this lightning strike moment, this spark, this genius insight that magically unlocks millions. But here's the truth MJ DeMarco drills into your skull. Ideas are worthless. Execution is everything. Think about it. How many people have said, I had that idea first. I thought of that years ago. That was my concept. And yet, they're still broke. Because wealth does not reward imagination. It rewards implementation. The idea versus the process. DeMarco calls this the event illusion, the fantasy that success is a single moment. Selling a business, getting rich, going viral. One big pop. One climactic event. But the fast lane is not an event. It is a process. Late nights, uncomfortable learning curves, broken code, failed launches, crushed confidence, lost money. And then, suddenly, after years of grind, you look like an overnight success. It's funny. The world praises the win and ignores the war. Why most people never get rich. Fastlane success requires brutal honesty. You're not competing against other people. You're competing against your own comfort. The hardest part of passive income is not the skill, not the time, not the complexity. It's the emotional resistance. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being wrong, fear of wasted effort. Most people would rather watch videos about passive income than build passive income. Most people would rather daydream about becoming rich than confront the version of themselves that's keeping them poor. The unsexy work. DeMarco hits you hard with this. The work must happen before the money shows up. Years before. You must build momentum long before you get rewarded for it. And then, only if you persist, money catches up. It's like pushing a car up a hill. At first, it doesn't move. You push harder. Still doesn't move. You feel stupid. Your body hurts. Everyone watching you thinks you're failing. Then one day, 1 inch at a time, the car moves. Then it rolls. And suddenly the hill slopes downward, and the car moves by itself. That is passive income. That moment, when the machine pushes itself. But to reach that moment, you must be the engine first. Too many people want the downhill ride without pushing through the uphill grind. The real passive in passive income. Here's the paradox. Passive income requires an aggressive beginning. If you can endure the grind long enough to build systems, you earn what most never will. Income without presence, money without labor, freedom without fear. But if you quit early, you get nothing. The truth isn't romantic. It isn't magical. It isn't soft. It's painfully simple. Everyone wants the results. Almost no one wants the discipline. Your turning point. So ask yourself, where are you right now? Are you on the sidewalk, chasing distractions, living paycheck to paycheck, hoping luck saves you? Are you in the slow lane, working 40 years for a maybe, trusting a market you can't control, waiting to retire when the best years are gone? Or are you ready for the fast lane, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it? Only you can answer that. And maybe this video is not entertainment. Maybe this is your wake-up call. Because in 10 years, you'll be one of two people. The person who built a system that prints money while they sleep, or the person who says, I wish I'd started back then. The closing truth. Passive income is real. It is achievable. It is powerful. But it is not passive to build it. The world tells you to dream. The fast lane tells you to act. The world tells you to wait. The fast lane tells you to build. The world tells you to hope. The fast lane tells you to control. No one will hand you freedom. You must create it. And if you start today, if you commit, if you lean into the discomfort, if you stop looking for shortcuts and start building real systems, you can change your financial future faster than you ever imagined. Not at 65, not someday, not in theory, in real life, in real numbers, in real time. 5 years from now, you could be financially free, or still watching videos hoping for it. Call to action. If this hit home, don't just scroll. Subscribe. Stick around. Because if the world never taught you how money works, this channel will. And your fast lane journey starts here.